Welcome to the Super Over. Jarrod Kimber here. Abishek Jhunjhunwala with me. What an weird game that was. It felt like, for the first part, we were like, well, India's going to win easily again. And then there would be a little twist. And English tail kicked on a little bit. And all these different things happened. And the second innings was drunk, Abishek. But let's just get to the I think, one of the most important ones. Tilak Varma's played a great innings, and yet scoreboard hawks are going to come to this in years to come and go, I didn't bat fast enough.
That's modern day cricket for you. But again, that's what it just shows. And what Surya Kumar Yadav said in an interview, yes, we want to play a particular brand of cricket, but at times, whatever the conditions required or the situation required, players still got to bat that way. And that's exactly what Tilak Varma does. And that's what England players should look at. And there's a lot to learn from there.
Well, I mean, you look at what happened there. He got the short ball and he took it on. And he got away with probably 2 or 3 that he could have been dismissed on. And then he kind of put it away and went, okay, well, now I'll look for singles for a little while, where the rest of his team didn't. And they kept going out to the short ball. And the same with the spin. We know he loves the smash spin, but he was like, this isn't the time, right? It was just a very well-paced innings. And that isn't anywhere near as good as we both know he can bat.
Oh, absolutely. And also, you've got to be calculative. And also, I think what he did was he gauged the situation really, really well and batted according to the situation. Again, we all know it's about going out there and expressing yourself. You hear this term far too much nowadays in T20 cricket, or just go out there and express. Yes, you are allowed to express, but that doesn't mean you don't win matches for your team. There is different ways of expressing. Today, the way he expressed, I'd rather have that expression than somebody going out there and playing a false shot and getting out and saying, oh, that's the way I bat.
It's an interesting style these two teams are going at. This is, in Chennai, and we're like, oh, England don't have any spinners and everything. India went all in with spin, so much so that Abhishek Sharma bowled an over, right? And England went all in with pace. But to be fair to England, it kind of worked, especially once they went away from the bouncers, which I think were a little bit more risky, and they just went to back of a length. They put a lot of pressure on India, and that was when they probably looked best in the game.
Yeah, I think they looked at the stats from last year's IPL, where 74 wickets were taken by the fast bowlers and only 24 by the spinners. And they were far more handy, the fast bowlers. And it worked. To be honest, it worked both sides. The spinner worked as well. So I think it's a very good pitch to play cricket on overall.
Jamie Overton. We had a discussion during play about Jamie Overton being the number 7 who doesn't bowl. And we both agree that doesn't make a lot of sense. But we understand them trying to develop him. Today, he had to bowl key overs all the way through to the death. It was a pretty good game from Jamie Overton, even if, unfortunately for him, he was bowling at the end when they lost.
Yeah, I think first 2 overs, he bowled for 2 overs for 14 for 1. He picked up a wicket as well, so he bowled brilliantly. The change-ups he did, the execution, his plans were pretty clear. He had a lot of clarity in his head. And that's exactly what we said, that if he can do both, he's a guaranteed pick in this first 11. But if he does one, I think I'll still pick him as a bowler over a batter.
You still think he's a bowler?
I think he's a better bowler than a batter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Also, he's a good outfielder as well. Like, he took a catch again today. Like, he's a big guy, but he moves a lot quicker than, say, his brother does and some other of those big, fast bowlers can. But what he allows them to do is to go all in with that back of a length short ball tactic, right? And that's definitely on this wicket was the best option today, because there were some balls that took off. There were some that kept a little bit low. It was not easy for the Indian batters as that ball got older.
No, they made it really difficult. And also, I think the way Josh Butler rotated his bowler, he did a great job with them, the way he mixed up, and also the way he used Adil Rashid. And he really played a masterstroke with Liam Livingston when they got rid of Akshay Patel. So I think from captaincy point of view, he was pretty good. Apart from the final over, I would have still gone with Mark Wood with absolute pace.
So I thought that their thinking at that point was that Mark Wood could get edged and go for a 4 much easier. Is that the reason you think they went with Overton?
That's the only reason they probably went with him, because they didn't want to give extra pace to Tilak Varma. But also at the same time, if Mark Wood can nail in Yorker at that pace, not many batters in the world could get away from that.
I mean, the truth is that once it's 6 from 6 and you've got a set batter at the end, that was the wicket they needed. Was if they'd got Tilak Varma out and the tail was on, you probably just bring Mark Wood on and could say, try and blow the stumps away. But with a set batter, maybe they were thinking Overton, but it didn't quite work. The only other thing from today it's worth pointing out is England did very well with their bowling, and I think we're all pretty impressed with the way that they brought it back. Especially there was a couple of times where it looked like India would run away, and they didn't. But India bowling spin to England still looks like a massive problem.
I think they're going to carry on playing spinner every game. Doesn't matter which surface they are playing. They're playing in Rajkot, which can go two ways. Either you score 300s, like as I mentioned earlier, Pujara and Jadeja both have 3 triple hundreds on that ground.
But Pujara's wasn't in a T20.
No, not in a T20, both in first-class games. But that pitch is always the best pitch to bat in India. It's an absolute belter. It's a road. But you can turn it. You can make it into an absolute rank turner as well.
This series so far, I think India certainly still look like the better team. But after today, if I was England, I'd be like, well, some of the things we tried have started to work, right?
Yeah, I think so. The only thing they need to worry about is the top 3. If they can get majority of their runs from the top 3 or the top 4, I think a lot of their issues will get solved. Their bowling has been brilliant. In both the games, we know they've got one of the 2 best fast bowlers in the world at the moment and one of the best spinners as well. So bowling is not an issue, it's their batting. And the top order will have to find a method to score runs.
Obviously, Adil Rashid dropped that catch at the end, and everyone's going to remember that. And that might have been the turning point. But it's also worth remembering that England were batting pretty well at the start of their innings, and then the first ball of spin, they gifted a wicket through Ben Duckett's helmet and a sweep shot, reverse sweep shot. That's Abishek Jhunjhunwala. He'll be back from some more games later in the week as well. I'm Jarrod Kimber, and I'm always on this channel, let's be honest.